My own ending, anta morbid raale inka. But yeah, sure. Unfortunately, most of my nuances seem to come from the internet. During Kalki, what was I watching? When I said yes to the film, I'm the one who's making other people say yes to the film. It's pretty good to see audiences of all ages come and watch the film in the theatre, and it's like a really new experience. It's like something that hasn't been done before, so it's a lot of fun to see people in the theatre experiencing it for the first time. When I said yes to the film, I'm the one who's making other people say yes to the film. Yeah, of course. I mean, I felt that what Sir had in mind was something I just trusted. It was his thought and belief. But finally, when I saw the final copy, when the film was about to be released, I realized that I underestimated what the film could have been a lot, because I thought it's a musical and it's something that Sir loves. But I didn't realize it's like such a new experience in the theatre. So these are not exactly songs, these are all dialogues that are in tune. So it's not exactly a musical in the typical sense where everybody goes off and starts singing a song. So in that sense, of course, the dialogue was written first, and then we'd send it to the music director and we'd make sure there is a musicality to it, but it shouldn't feel like lyrics in a song. So yeah, that was a balance between that. I think everything. I think like every step of the process of making this film was something we had to discover. Whether it was getting a lot of actors and background actors, which is even harder, to be in rhythm and act according to the pace of the song that we recorded, was a challenge. And to make sure that people act naturally though they are singing. So it shouldn't feel like they are performing something because it's a song, and it shouldn't feel artificial. So just getting the naturality across was something that was hard. So I think in this particular film, the music director is a lot more a director of the film than he is in other films, because the way we construct each scene, whether it's the pacing of it, whether it's the gaps of it, it's all something that we have to agree upon before. And Devi is a very visual music director, and he knows Telugu, he knows music, he knows lyrics to a certain extent. So there's so many layers of inputs and help that made this film what it was. When I decided to do Sing Geetham, I think the basic thing was that this really great director wants to make a film and he really believes in it. There are a lot of reasons where a rational sort of mindset can say that how, why will it work, all of that. But I felt that a director of this stature didn't require these questions, and I was a nobody to ask these questions, so I just wanted to make it happen. On the set of Kalki, I think every day was hard in its own way, because it's a new set of problems to solve in Kalki, whether it's art or action or every small thing, even the smallest prop in Kalki, like suddenly you want a character to get in touch with someone, to call someone, so you have to create a communication device. If you want that character to drink some water, now you have to create like the cutlery and the mechanism to drink water. So Kalki was challenging in a lot of ways. In almost every day there was something new that we had to figure. I think it's a bit of both. There's definitely a few things which I'm much more sure about now than I would have been in Yevide, which I know that this is the way. Like maybe I would have been second guessing myself a lot back then. And maybe there are a few other things that were very instinctive in Yavade because I didn't know anything about market reactions, all of that, which maybe are not as instinctive now. But that is the goal is always to find that clean line to that instinct. I don't know. I didn't think. I think cinema is, at least for me, I think most movies are like you start over. Every time you make a movie, it's from square one. And it doesn't matter if your previous film worked, didn't work, was a success, not a success, reviewed. So it just is a new journey every time. So it's a new story, new actors, new team. So I think every time you sort of start afresh. So I don't know if there's any overarching beliefs that I carry you across the films. For Sing Geetham, we rehearsed a lot. We rehearsed a lot because we couldn't imagine what it was on paper. Because a regular scene on paper is a regular scene on paper, but when it's a musical, we have to pace it and perform it a certain way. So we rehearsed everything, whether it was the writing department, the direction department, even once the actors came in. Every step of the way was just extensively blocking out, rehearsing the scene, because only then we would understand what was working and what was not working. I think we auditioned newcomers only, but they were all natural in their own way. So maybe Ahilya, who played Gauri, and Shalini had a little bit of acting experience before. But I think what Sir was looking for was a certain kind of energy for each character, was a certain kind of personality. And once that personality came across in their natural self, like when they were talking to Sir during an audition, or how they look and how they carried themselves, that was enough, because the rest of it is just the material and rehearsal, so that can be done anytime. I think I didn't say no much, but I think the idea was to keep in mind that this was an experimental film and that it had its limits, but at the end of the day, the flip side of the coin was that it was also one of a kind, and it was a dream child of Sing Geetham Srinivas Rao, so we wanted to give it the best, but we also wanted to balance the reality of it. So I think we tried our best to do that. I think it's the same instinct for sure. It's the same instinct overall, but the world is very different and the rules of the world are very different. So in that whole chaos of art, set, properties, juniors, all of that chaos, you still have to find the core of why you're telling the story and why the story needs to be told. And in that way, Kalki is the same as any other film. It has to have that purpose, and I think that was our goal. In that size of a small country, we're trying to find that seed. I mean, it's a balance, no? I mean, sometimes the purpose of a scene is also to show the scale. Like, if there is a battle, you want, of course, the emotion of who is fighting and who you want to win is important, but the scale of that fight is important. Or if somebody is being interrogated, it's a choice. Like, the scale of it, is it like the entire Kasi is watching? So you want to show like a massive sort of space, and there's this two people that are being questioned. So the emotion of the scene probably dictates how big we need to go. I have not been reading too much lately. I think unfortunately most of my nuances seem to come from the internet nowadays, whether it's some articles or social media. So what would it have been? Maybe something, I mean, to be honest, I can't remember anything specific. During Kalki, what was I watching? I think I was watching Arcane at some point. Somewhere during the end of Kalki, I was watching Arcane and I was like, man, this looks great. But I couldn't incorporate much of it, but it was definitely an inspiration. I thought musical, but I guess we just made a musical. I never thought I would make one. So never say never, I guess, yeah. I see usually the stories behind it, like for a few years. Maybe when I watched Every Day for the first few years after release, I would think of all the challenges, all the things we could have done better or differently or something. And then as time passes, then you realize that that film is what it is. It happened through me and not by me or whatever. So I think that's the same that happens even with Mahanati or anything. For the first few years, you hold on to the ego that you made something and you are the creator, so to speak. And then after a few years, you realize you have no idea how that happened, and it just happened. So. You mean in particular or something? I don't know. Is there a craft choice? I mean, I really like it when people choreograph stuff really well, like whether it is visuals to music or to performance or anything. So that really feels good on screen when you watch it, like, you know, sometimes like there's Mahanadi, Kamal sir's film. So there's one Veena bit that happens in a song and the camera tracks across a grill in a temple. And that track happens exactly when that Veena bit happens. So that just feels very satisfying. Like somebody paid attention and made that happen. And that happens so many times, like, you know, when you just cut the music at the right point, or when the camera stops after a dolly in a way that it tells a story that the actor and the other actor are in a certain position. Like so many things when there is that thought, that choreography to a scene, I guess you can call it blocking, but that feels good. I don't know. I think all rules are nonsense, and then I think all rules are also important. So it just depends upon the director. Like, I mean, I think you pay attention to everything and you do what you can and what you have to. My own ending, anta morbid rale inka, but yeah, sure. I think I'm definitely curious to see how many more stories I really want to tell, that I really feel have a purpose to be told by me, because I think at the end of the day, if I'm making a story, it should be something that only I can make. If I'm making a story that anybody else can make, then it becomes a repeatable job, it becomes a business or something, and maybe I could do something else with my time. When I'm 94 like Sing Geetham sir, I wish I have a sense of humor for sure. I don't know if I'll still have that passion and energy to want to still make a film at that point. I don't even know if films will exist at that point in the way that we have it. I really don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't know what the next week has in store. So 94 is a long way off. But I really like Swarna Kamalam by Vishwanath Garu. Like, I think just the music and Bhanupriya Garu and the lyrics, just fell in love with that movie. I love Missamma. I was speaking about it the other day to someone, like the old L.V. Prasad sir film. I think that's one of those films that, you know, even today, like, I don't know where to edit it to make it shorter. It feels like that runtime and that pacing was perfect. There are lots of old films you love, but you can easily chop off half an hour. But here it didn't feel like that. I think Braveheart was one of my first films I saw in the theatre, in Anand Theatre in Hyderabad when I was a kid, and like really emotional about it. I haven't rewatched it in a long time, but I remember that movie affecting me a lot. What else? Guide I love. I love Dev Anand sir's Guide. I think that's also a great book and one of the best movies in Indian cinema. What else? Maybe very cliche maybe, but Avatar was very inspiring, the first one when it came out. Like I saw it again in Prasad's IMAX and I was like blown for a good day or two. So, I mean, now the sequels have sort of dampened the feeling, but the first one was something else.